Hey everyone. So we are going to learn more about preparing these sentences. So first we need to remember the different types of verbs because verbs are, as you might remember, the nuclei of our sentence. They describe and they set up how our sentences are going to be formulated. So these are our 6 types of main verbs, and we want to remember what kind of verbs these are. So think if you can remember with me, what are these 6 types of verbs? So VI. VI is intransitive verbs. And intransitive verbs are the simplest. They do not transfer. They have the simplest sentence formation. Okay? VL. VL are linking verbs. And linking verbs are the same as an equal sign. Okay? So she is this, except that's a form of the be. She looked sick. It tasted great. It serves as a linking verb. VT. What does that stand for? It stands for transitive. Transitive verbs. These transfer their verb onto an object. It has to transfer onto an object, okay? And then we have our 2-term VTs, meaning they have 2 things that come after them. And we have the VG, which is the verb of give. Okay, it acts like the word give. And we have the verb of consider. And these are transitive verbs where I transfer my verb onto something else, but I also have another term or another idea that coincides with it. Okay, and finally, be verbs. These are a certain type of linking verb that are forms of the word to be. Okay? So those are our 6 types of verbs. What we're going to go into today and what we need to learn from today's video is the structure of sentences using each of these types of verbs and what we call all of the parts, okay? So I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so we're going to start with VI. Remember that VI is intransitive. And because it's intransitive, we're going to have this most simplistic sentence structure. So we're going to have this thing for every single verb. And this is going to be called a sentence formula. And it basically tells us how are the sentences with this type of verb going to be set up. Now today you need to learn a couple of things. You need to learn 1, subject. 2, you need to learn predicate. 3, you need to learn sentence formulas. And 4, you need to learn types of phrases. And you're going to see what I mean by that. Types of phrases. Please excuse my poor penmanship. Okay. So, in an intransitive verb sentence, we are always going to begin with our noun phrase. And our noun phrase is going to be our subject. Okay, for every single subject, every single sentence, the subject is the noun doing the action. Okay? The noun doing the action. Okay? Then we're going to have our VI. Okay? And everything that comes after the verb and everything after it, is always our predicate. Okay? The verb and everything after it is our predicate. So what we can do with these sentences, they're all basically the same sentence at the beginning. I ate slowly, I ate a lion. We're going to draw a line that separates the subject and the predicate. Now these all have the same noun phrase and they all have the same verb. So that means we can draw the line at the same place, which would be right here. I is our pronoun that is serving as our noun phrase. Okay? And so I in each of the sentences is the subject. Okay? And it's a noun phrase. It might only have one word, but that's still a noun phrase. Then we have our predicate. Our predicate always is going to include a VI if this is a VI sentence. So, I ate. Okay? That's my VI. Now, if you look at our sentence formula, we also have this thing in a parentheses, which is an adverb, which means sometimes you can have an adverb. It doesn't mean you always have an adverb, but sometimes you can have an adverb. Like sometimes I will say, I ate. However, more likely I'm probably going to have an adverb describing how I ate. Sometimes an adverb will be one word, like in this sentence. I ate slowly. This is a traditional adverb. Okay? But sometimes you will have a phrase that serves in an adverb, and that's what you need to see. You need to see how words function in the sentence. So an adverb describes how a verb takes place, right? How did I eat? I ate slowly. But in this sentence, I have an adverb phrase. I ate like a lion. Like a lion is actually what kind of phrase? Do you remember? This is actually a prepositional phrase. But then we're going to use a colon and we're going to describe how is it functioning. But in this sentence, it's serving as an adverb phrase. It's still serving to describe how did I eat. How did I eat? I ate slowly. How did I eat? I ate like a lion. It answers the same question. So, let's practice this. A subject is always the noun doing the action. A subject is always the noun doing the action. Predicate is always the verb and everything that comes after the verb. Okay, so in this sentence we have a VI, which is an intransitive verb. All of them are the same. When you have a VI, our sentence formula lets us know that we have a noun phrase, an intransitive verb, and sometimes we will have an adverb or adverb phrase. Okay? So, looking at the types of phrases, in this sentence, you have either a VI and an adverb, or a VI and an adverb phrase. Most of the time, your adverb phrase is a prepositional phrase. Okay? All right, those are VI. All right, so this is a linking verb. For a linking verb, you are going to have the same thing. We need to know our noun phrase, which is our subject, our verb, and everything after it is our predicate. Now, when you're dealing with a linking verb, you're always going to have a linking verb, okay? And remember, a linking verb is the same as an equal sign. And then you see these brackets, they mean you're going to have either or. You're going to have one or the other. Okay? So you're either going to have a noun phrase, and that noun phrase, when it's behind a linking verb, is called a predicate noun. So if I was going to write this out full, this would be a predicate noun. When I have an adjective after a linking verb, we call that a predicate adjective. Okay? So, let's take an example. Every single sentence that has a linking verb, and remember that a linking verb is not a be verb, and you will see why. Okay? So, a linking verb can have behind it either a noun that is operating as a predicate noun, or it can have an adjective that's serving as a predicate adjective. Now, even though our formula only has 3 words included, those are the root words. We can still have all kinds of other words describing them. So let's take a look. Tommy appeared the best man for the job. Okay, well, where's our noun phrase? That is our subject. Right here. Tommy's the one doing the action. Okay, so I can split right here. This is our subject. And we're always going to say noun, phrase, subject. Okay, what was the verb that he took? What's the linking verb? It's appeared. This is our VL. Okay, but then after it, we have this whole phrase together. How is this phrase operating in the sentence? Is this a predicate noun or predicate adjective? Let's take a look. Tommy appeared the best man for the job. What's our main word? Our main word is man. If I said Tommy equals what? Tommy equals the man, the best man. This is a noun, right? So all of this, even though this is a prepositional phrase and these are describing man, the main part of this is that it's a noun. So this is a noun phrase, predicate, noun. Okay? How about in this sentence? He seemed highly qualified. Who is doing the action? He is doing the action, so he's our subject. What is his verb? He seemed. This is our VL. And then what did he seem? He seemed qualified. So all of this together, even though this is an adverb describing this adjective, the main point, the main word in this phrase is qualified. So this is again an adjective, predicate, adjective. So on your quiz and for your examples, you are going to need to find out what these different words are. I'm going to say, what is the predicate adjective? Okay, and you're going to need to be able to find that. All right, take one more set of notes, and here we go. Predicates with VTs. What's VT? This is a transitive verb. And this is a transitive verb with one term. And what I mean by that is you can see, here's our VT, and then it has to transfer its verb, because it's a transitive verb, onto one noun. Okay, it has one term behind it, only one, right? So, and in this sentence, a noun phrase is going to have to go after a transitive verb, and that is called a direct object. Now, a direct object is that which is transferred onto the verb. The verb is done to that object. It is the direct object of my verb, right? It answers the question, what did I eat? I ate the sandwich. Sandwich is the direct object. What did I like? I liked the color orange. The color orange is my direct object, okay? So for every transitive verb, we're going to have a noun phrase, which is our subject. We're going to have our VT, or transitive verb, and we're going to have a direct object. So this is a very long sentence, but it still follows this format. Let's see how. Ricky hit the ball out of the park for a home run. Alrighty, what am I looking at here? Well, first, we have Ricky is our noun phrase subject. Ricky is the one doing the action. What is our action verb? What is our main verb? Our VT is hit. So then you got to ask yourself, what did Ricky hit? Ricky hit the ball, right? So the main thing we have here is this noun. However, the is an article describing ball. Out of the park is a prepositional phrase. Oops. One second. Okay. This is a prepositional phrase that's describing how did he hit the ball? He hit the ball out of the park. So this is acting as an adverb phrase. And same with this one. For a home run, how did he hit the ball? He hit it for a home run. So this is also a prepositional phrase, adverb phrase. This is describing how it hit. But all of this together, from here on, all of this together is all really just describing what kind of ball, what kind of situation it is. And so this is our noun phrase direct object. Okay? All right, take a look at that. All right, now you've come to VG, and VG is the verb of giving. And remember that this is one of our two-term transitives, meaning it is a transitive verb. It has to have an object. You'll notice that both of these have a direct object, but it also has to have another term. And in this case, it has this one, which is called the indirect object. So we have the direct object and the indirect object. And basically what you can know is your direct object is what you gave, and your indirect object is who did you give it to. So I'm going to make those notes down here. Your direct object is what was given. Your indirect object is to who was it given. Okay? So let's look at our sentences. We're always going to start with a noun phrase, our subject. We're going to have a verb of giving. And then we have two kinds of setups. We're either going to, remember if it's in the brackets like this means or. We're either going to have a noun phrase, which is our indirect object, and then our direct object. Or we're going to have our direct object, the word to or for, and then our indirect object. So let's look at an example. Tammy gave Jackie a friendship bracelet. Okay, I start with a noun phrase, which is my subject. Noun phrase, subject. Then I have my verb, my VG. Now, either we have two noun phrases. What are the noun phrases? Break them apart. Where does one phrase begin and the other end? Well, what's the main first noun? Jackie. Who did I give it to? I gave it to Jackie. Okay? And then I have a friendship bracelet. What did I give Jackie? I gave Jackie a friendship bracelet. So in this situation, our direct object is what did I give? Did I give Jackie? No, I gave a friendship bracelet. So this is our noun phrase direct object. But who did I give it to? I gave it to Jackie, So Jackie is my noun phrase indirect object. Okay? However, I switched the sentence around down here. I have Tammy, which is my subject. I have gave, which was my VG. Then I had the direct object. I had the word to. And then I had my noun phrase indirect object. Okay? So again, if you look at these sentences, look, they're in the exact same order as this sentence formula. This is how sentences with VG verbs are set up. So a couple things you're going to need to know how to do this successfully. First of all, you're going to need to remember what type of verb it is. You're going to need to be able to identify what type of verb exists in a sentence. Then you're going to need to remember the sentence formulas. I'm going to let you use notes. If you take notes on a separate sheet of paper, so ding-ling-ling-ling, please do this, including all of your sentence formulas. Remember your sentence formulas, okay? That's going to make a big difference for you. You're going to need to know what happens in a sentence that uses VG versus VI, okay? All right, you got this one? Now to go on to VC. Now VC is another two-term transitive. Because you are going to have your direct object, which I left out of here. I'm sorry. You're going to need to have in here, you're going to have your direct object. Or you're going to need, and you're going to have either your noun phrase object complement, your adjective phrase object complement, and your infinitive phrase object complement. So when you have VC, this is saying consider, right? You're calling someone something. You're considering it. So you're going to name something. That will be your direct object. Okay? So your direct object is noun you're discussing. And then all of these are called object complements. And these are what you're saying. What you're saying about the direct object. Okay, so let's take a look at these. So, Republicans consider Democrats big spenders. Woo, okay. Republicans is our noun phrase subject. Consider is obviously our VC. We have Democrats is a noun phrase, which is our direct object. And then we have all of these are going to be an object complement, but are they a noun phrase? Are they an adjective phrase? Or are they an infinitive phrase? Big spenders. What do you guys think that is? That is a noun phrase. So that's an object complement of the noun phrase variety. Some rock fans consider Bob Dylan old-fashioned. Well, who is doing the action? Some rock fans. That's all my subject, my noun phrase subject. They consider, VC. Who do they consider? What are they discussing? We're discussing Bob Dylan. He's our direct object. And then what are we describing him? We think he's old-fashioned. Old-fashioned is an adjective phrase. Adjective phrase. Again, object complement. Okay? All right, Jefferson considered the compromise to be the death of the nation. Woo, this is a hard sentence. Let's take a look at it. Well, who's doing the action? Jefferson is our noun phrase subject. Considered is our VC. What did he consider? He considered the compromise. That's our direct object. And then infinitive, remember, is that to plus a word. So all of this section is an infinitive phrase. Infinitive phrase. Object, complement. Okay? Again, so long as you know these formulas, it should be pretty easy to be able to identify what comes next. All right, and finally, we have the verb to be. Now, the verb to be is like a linking verb, but here you can actually have a predicate noun, a predicate adjective, what we've seen before, or you can have a predicate adverb. There's one more thing you can have if you have the form of to be, which is one of the reasons that we separate the verb to be from other linking verbs, because other linking verbs cannot have predicate adverbs. Okay? So, let's practice. My mother is the noun phrase. This is my noun phrase subject. My mother is, that's be, a great woman. A great woman is a noun phrase because we're looking at woman. I'm saying my mother equals woman. So this is a predicate noun. My mother is my noun phrase subject. Is a form of the word to be. Gracious. Gracious is an adjective, so it is an adjective phrase, predicate adjective. Okay? My mother, noun phrase subject, is be at home. Now, it's describing where is my mother. This is actually a prepositional phrase, again. And a lot of times prepositional phrases will act like this. But this is an adverb phrase. Okay? If you just call it an adverb phrase, that's fine. I just want you guys to remember that that's a prepositional phrase. Okay? So this is acting as a predicate adverb. You cannot have predicate adverbs with your other linking verbs. So, okay, that's why we add that. All right, so let's do a quick review. Review. Things we need to know. 1, our subject is the noun phrase doing the action. Sometimes that's a very passive action. Maybe they're dreaming or they're existing, but they're doing the action. Okay? This is always before the verb phrase. Then 2, our predicate is the verb phrase. And our complete predicate is basically plus everything after. Okay, so everything after the verb phrase. 3, we have sentence formulas. Sentence formulas tell us what will be in each kind of sentence and what must be there and what might be there. Okay? We have those 6 different types of verbs, and those are the root of our nuclei. Those are our nuclei of our sentences. They make up our sentence formula. So this is determined by type of verb. And then finally, we had our types of phrases. And when I say type of phrases, what I mean is you need to know, when is a noun phrase a subject? When is it a direct object? When is it an indirect object? When is it a noun phrase predicate noun? Same thing with, when is it a predicate adjective? Okay? All of those types of phrases are what we're looking for. Okay? When is it an object complement? That's what you need to be able to identify. Okay, use this and try to do your practice sentences. Good luck!